It is just about summer here in northern New Jersey, and if you're anything like us, summer means it's time to spend lots of time out in the backyard or on the deck grilling and hanging out with friends and family. The only problem is that our deck currently looks like this. It is in desperate need of a makeover. We know it can be hard to find the motivation to tackle a big project like this, so we are here to break down exactly how we did it so that you feel inspired to get out there and refresh your outdoor space for summer. As you can see, it desperately needs a fresh new finish, so we will start with that. But we also want to freshen up the whole look of the space with 1 or 2 new pieces of furniture to replace the worn out ones and new plants to replace the dead ones. Our family has a unique multi-generational living situation where we all rent this 3,200 square foot home together. And by we, I mean my mom and business partner Amanda, my dad Bennie, my husband Alex, myself, and my older brother Zon all share this home and are working together to make it function well for us. So that means we all pitched in to tackle giving our deck a complete makeover. We started the project by clearing everything that we possibly could off of the deck, since the plan is to completely remove the old finish and restain it. We have spent many nights sitting around this table as a family enjoying each other's company, and it still functions well for us and is in good shape, so we will be keeping this set. The serving table, however, has seen better days, so we will not be reusing it in this makeover. Instead, we will look for a new one and work on sprucing up this corner overall. Also, this old water fountain feature is a bit beaten up, so it will not be making an appearance in the completed look. We haven't even cleared off the entire deck yet, and it is so hot I already have to put my hair up. Whew. Much better. Now to bring down all the heavy stuff. And yes, we do have 2 grills. I did mention earlier that we spend a lot of time cooking out and enjoying our deck. We will also be reusing these string lights because they add a lot of lovely light and ambiance when we enjoy the deck at night. There was one heavy item that we didn't want to risk carrying down the stairs, so my dad came up with a clever way to put this planter on wheels so that we can move it around as needed. So you'll see that on the deck as we go through this process, but this is what it looked like when it was all cleared off. It is clearly in need of a good cleaning, so now it is time to pressure wash the whole deck to completely remove the old worn down stain so we can start fresh. Isn't it just so satisfying to see all of that old finish, the dirt, the mildew come off of the wood? The wood under all of that looks totally brand new. Now, we do have a pressure washing tip for you. While pressure washing, try to avoid short back and forth movements like this. It will leave little stop and start marks in the wood. Instead, do longer even strokes to cut down on uneven spots like you can see there. Also try to lift up a bit at the end of each of your strokes to prevent creating a harsh line where you do need to stop the stroke. My dad Bennie did a lot of the pressure washing, but I also got in there and helped out a bit. But again, it's just so satisfying to see the wood come alive without that old finish. Pressure washing took a while to complete, especially since we were getting the deck back down to the raw wood, but we were so glad that we put in the extra effort to do it right. Since our deck is so tall and certain areas are pretty high up, we rented some scaffolding to help us reach those spots, but more on that later. For now, this is what the deck looked like when we finished pressure washing it. Fresh and almost ready for stain. All of the pressure washing did leave the wood very splintered in certain spots, so we worked on sanding all of that smooth before moving on. We used our power sanders as much as we could, but some places required hand sanding, so the sanding step took a little longer than expected, but the whole family helped out to get it done. We went around and hammered in any nails that were sticking out to reinforce those areas and to make our deck safer. We also tested out the stain color we chose by doing a little patch to make sure we liked it. We highly recommend testing out your stain before committing to covering your whole deck with it. We chose this semi-transparent stain by Defy in the color Butternut. The exact one we used is linked down in the description for you. No matter what stain you choose, we highly recommend reading the back label to learn exactly how to use it. It felt so good to finally get to the staining part of this project. We did a lot of research before picking a stain because we wanted to pick one that would last and not require restaining again for many years. I started staining the deck all by myself on a balmy 90-degree Saturday morning because my husband was at work and my parents were out on other important vintage hip decor business, and I knew that it would probably take all day, so I wanted to get a head start. Oh no, I just spilled so much stain. Oh no. It is all over my foot. Oh no. Super unattractive. The stain we chose is very thin and liquidy, so it was very fast and easy to apply to horizontal surfaces like the railings. So I started with those to get a hang of using it and refilled my stain cup as the wood soaked it all up. The vertical slats were much more time consuming since they have 4 sides to cover, so that took me a while to do, but gladly my mom and dad returned to help tackle the rest of it. The nice thing about this particular stain was that you have to do the second coat within 20 minutes of the first coat, making it easier to finish a section and move on. We really loved having both coats done all at once. Now back to that scaffolding I mentioned earlier. It cost around $66 to rent for a week from our local tool equipment rental store, which was well worth it to us. It was easy to assemble and it made getting to all of the unreachable spots super simple. We could not have done this project without it, so we recommend looking into it if you also have a high deck. After finishing all of the railings, the next day it was time to stain the floor of the deck. We started by staining the grooves in between the planks and then came in with a paint roller to apply the stain to the boards. We quickly realized that staining the grooves first made them darker for some reason, so instead my husband went ahead with rolling on the stain while I followed behind him with a brush to work it into the grooves and get any spots the roller missed. My dad stepped in to help Alex finish it, but we ran out of stain just with this small section left to do. So after waiting a couple days for more stain to arrive, we finally were able to finish and it looked like this. What a difference. It's another hot one out here. We are finally to the fun part of this project where we get to bring everything back up onto the deck and decorate it and finalize everything and get around to enjoying it and grilling up here and spending time as a family this summer. It's been a little bit of a rough road getting here. We've had lots of delays, and we're gonna start by assembling a pergola gazebo type situation. It's a like 10 foot by 12 foot by 10 foot high. I wanna call it a pergola, but like it says gazebo on the box. It doesn't matter. We're gonna be assembling that tonight, my dad and I. We have to bring it around from the garage and get started building it. Hopefully it's not too difficult to put together, and we don't actually know how it's going to work in this space because we've never had anything that big up here. So hopefully it works out nicely and brings some really nice ambiance to the deck. Look at that one too. They're both completely mangled.
Wow, this is some serious damage.
So we ran into a kind of big problem. The box that they sent us, there are 2 pieces like this that are completely mangled. So we will not be building this particular one. I don't know what we're gonna do with it. Another delay. It's fine. So it took a little bit of effort, but we found another gazebo. These things are really rare, but we located one. We went and got it this morning, my mom and I, and now we're gonna put it together. We opened the box in the store to make sure none of the parts were bent or anything. And I am determined that we are gonna build this thing today and nothing is gonna stop me. Nothing is gonna stop me. Let's hope that this goes well. right, that was really a mission, but we got it done. We just have to hang some curtains around it, and we are gonna roll out a rug now. Hopefully that's the right size. We were happy with this rug and called it a night after that. The following day, we started to bring everything else back up onto the deck to finish it off. How are we gonna get it out?
Oh my goodness. I don't want to touch this dirty box.
Ready?
I have no grip on it. That's what I made.
We put... almost dropped it. 1, 2, 3. That was a little scary. I think it's nice. What do you think?
Yeah, it's deep.
With everything back in its place, it's time for our backyard before and after. We could not be more thrilled with how the deck came out. The gazebo made it feel like we gained usable living space for our home, and now we are in love with this space. As always, we want to thank you for watching, and we hope that this inspired you to see your own home in a new light.